Well, hello there. Hi, it's Mancow, and I got a lot to talk about. Hung out with Roger Stone. Nudie, jump on here. Who are the two other guys I hung out with, separate from Stone? You can show yourself if you want.
All right. Well, let me.
Who else was I hanging with?
Jack Posobiec.
Jack Posobiec, okay.
And Mike Cernovich.
Mike Cernovich. I don't know if you know who they are, but you can jump off now. I didn't see anyway, but yeah, and I've been on tour with the Pumpkins again, and what do we got coming up? I want to talk about Maui, Lasers, Butt Hash, the Broken Mary, Kevin Matthews, and the show we're doing together, and Richmond, north of Richmond, and a lot more. Before we even start the show, I want to bring on MJ, who's an old friend of mine. MJ, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, man?
It's good to see you. And we had a few seconds here before on. I was just saying that, we care about things that nobody gives a shit about. Like you have old radios.
Hey, what?
Yeah.
These things were made in Chicago. These I'm a big Zenith collector. So these are all Zenith radios. I collect Zenith from 1934 to 1939. The heyday for Zenith was the mid 30s. These suckers were made in Chicago, man.
So I know you're nervous, and you should be whenever another radio guy asks you on, because we all hate each other. I get it, but
who says I'm nervous? Am I? Do I have going on? What's going on?
Before you hang up, I just want to say, total loser, and I'm a total loser too, because I dig shit like this, right? So I just found, I didn't know I had him. I didn't know I had him for 25 years. Today, I found like 100 King Biscuit Flower Hour records that I pulled out of the trash with John Lennon and David Bowie, and I just looked them up, and they're going for, $200, $500 a piece. And anyway, I love the old radio stuff. I love nostalgia. You were on some of the great radio stations. I want to tell you, first of all, I want to have you on because I was just in Florida. Your show is fantastic. I went political. You went political. Now you're done with it. I would kind of like to go back at some point in my life and do a rock and roll radio show void of politics and have everybody love me again. Because, when you have an opinion, people hate you. I would like to go back and just do a fun show. Although this podcast is not that. Go ahead.
Well, that's what I decided to do, and that's what I've done. So my background is that I've done morning radio for a long time. We go back, man. I took you to dinner in New York City back in 1991, right? You wasn't Scott Shannon was talking about hiring you for his co-host on PLJ New York, right?
Well, you're the only one that remembers that. And do you know who got I said no. I said no.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I was offered the job. I said no. Do you know who took the job?
Well, Todd Pettengill took the job.
Yes. Yeah, well, I mean, you tell people this story, these stories are like, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, you got offered the job and you didn't take it, and Todd Pettengill did. And then I also quickly, you and I do you listen back to yourself and think, God, I talk too much? I should let the guests talk. Well, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. Yeah. So I just want to tell you, Linda McMahon and Vince McMahon flew me out,
right?
Probably before Todd, I don't know. And they flew me out on a private jet. They didn't tell me why. And I'm behind the glass with a microphone, and there's an empty space. On the other side of that room is Linda and Vince McMahon, who came in and sat down, and I could see them with lights underneath them, and they're sitting there. And then two guys came out and started wrestling. And Vince goes, call the match. Now, I don't have a talent for that. It is a very specific. And I said, the guy in red panties is, oh, look, he's got the guy in blue panties. And they went, thank you. And they flew me back. Anyway, it was really a horrible moment in my life, but I didn't know what they wanted. Anyway, so didn't you have a motorcycle in your living room?
I do not have a motorcycle in my living room.
I thought you did. Maybe who am I thinking of? Anyway, I do remember you were, I'm from Suicide Falls, Missouri, and right. I do remember I found you very worldly. You had to be a tough guy to live in New York. You walked me in the building. I remember we went into Madison Square Garden and we were stepping over bodies. You took me to Graves Papaya. I mean, I remember all these things fondly, and this was terrible. You don't have any idea how terrified I was.
Well, I thought you were pretty calm. So, my deal was I got chucked into radio because I loved it at a very young age. So, I found myself growing up. I was born in New York City. So I was born in New York, and I lived just outside. I was born in Bayside, Queens. And I grew up till I was like 11 years old in Rockland County, which is just 20 miles up the Hudson River outside of Manhattan. So I grew up loving WABC radio, the old 77 music radio, and all the big personalities. And I got bitten by the radio bug. So I knew at like 6 years old that I wanted to be on the radio. And Mancow, I'm sure you're pretty close to, you probably knew at a very young age that this is what you wanted to do, right?
I love radio. I still do. And, it's like loving the, the fat girl. Nobody else loves them but you.
So, yes, and I got into radio at a young age. I lived in New York till I was 11. And then my dad bought a plastics manufacturer down in Virginia. So I go from New York City to Virginia Beach, Virginia, the Norfolk area. In mid 1970s, 1976, 77 is when we moved. So, Virginia Beach is, just 20 miles from the North Carolina state line. So here I've got some New York, I got some Virginia. So I got my first gig in radio at 16 years old. I got a job at a little AM radio station in Chesapeake, Virginia, right in the Hampton Roads Tidewater market. And my kids, my friends, my buddies back in high school, 16 years old, they were bagging groceries at Farm Fresh while I'm getting up on the weekends to work at a little AM station. And before you know it, junior year, this is great. Junior year in high school, I got a gig doing weekends at the big hot hit station, big Mike Joseph hot hits, Z104. I'm in high school, 11th, 12th grade, and I'm on a big FM station doing weekends,
Okay, MJ. All right, so a little after that, but the same story, okay? Yep. And so you're the coolest guy in your 20s and your 30s. And at this point now, no, seriously, we're cooler than all of our friends, whatever. At this point, all of our friends now, at least my friends, are making more money than me. Radio's dead, and I feel like a real loser. But I had 20, 30 years of being a stud. Now, what do you do? Well, I was on WLS AM radio. Yeah. I mean, so I got to reverse it for this. But do you feel that way? Well, no, you're doing a morning show in Tampa, and you're having great success. But I mean, come on, radio is greatly diminished. Okay, I want to drop names, and I want your reaction.
Yeah,
Randy Michaels.
Randy Michaels is a radio genius. I worked for Randy Michaels. He was the power, the drive behind J-Core Broadcasting, and
God, my dream. They were bastards. They were bastards. I wanted to work for them. They taught me so much. I became Mancow watching them.
Oh, guerrilla radio.
They were bastards. They would go through your trash. They would call as the boss and fire you during your show. And these are all things that I learned. I learned how to do battle from them, and that's why I beat Stern. That's why I beat Brandmeier. That's why I beat Stephen Gary. That's why I devastated Kevin Matthews. That's why I won, because of the J-Core technique. I can say it now.
Yeah. Well, J-Core was a company that was since absorbed by Clear Channel. Then Clear Channel became iHeart. The deal. Those days.
Okay, Lee Abrams.
What? Lee Abrams, rock and roll, programming genius.
Opie and Anthony.
I think Stern wannabes, and they got kind of mean. They had to compete with Stern, so they did some stupid stuff. In fact, you know what? This is unfreaking believable that you brought this up. I'm just channel surfing over the weekend, and Vice TV yesterday. They're running a special on Stern and Opie and Anthony, and you're on there as well. I saw that yesterday by chance.
It's brand new. I haven't seen it, and I will tell you that at the time, and I've never heard Stern, and you don't have to believe it, whatever. I don't care.
Dude, I haven't turned Vice TV on in 5 years, and I turned it on, and there you are.
So here's the reason I wanted to bring it up. So I'm hearing this stuff. I never heard Stern in the day. I haven't heard him since. I'm not going to give him the time of day, and I do know from this airing, I'm hearing stuff, and it's even worse than I remember that he said about my father. Maybe time has softened the wounds, but it's some pretty horrific stuff. But I shared an agent, Bob Eatman.
So did I. I had eaten for a couple of years.
Okay. So free speech was in
peace, by the way.
Yeah. Free speech was free speech was under attack. And I don't know if MJ, I don't want to go here. I got to be careful, but I'm going to tell you that it was XXX rated. And so we had a conference of radio talent, and Opie and Anthony were on there.
Right.
And again, I'm going to clean this up a lot. And, and I got free speech carved in my flesh, and I take it very seriously. And this was a serious attack, an assault on free speech. This is why they want to get rid of AM and FM radios and cars, because they can't control it. They really want to get rid of it. So Opie and Anthony are on there, and they're like, Do you like ass? What? Hey, Mancow, you like ass? Are you gay? Are you and the F word and all this? I'm like, are you guys kidding? Anyway, let's get back to what we're talking about. Hey, are you gay? And it was just so. And I was driving across country once and I heard them and I didn't know what it was. And it was the worst shit radio MJ that I ever heard. Yeah. And that's what Stern didn't bother me. They bothered me only because I couldn't figure out why anybody would care. And I'm going to ramble on a little bit more quickly.
Yep.
Not being Mancow in Chicago is a sales point. Eric and Kathy, that was their ad. We're not Mancow. And so if Stern was a phenomenon, and you loved him, your friend had to hate him. Young man, I hate him. So they needed an alternative. So just being not Stern was their gimmick. But I thought they were talentless pieces of shit. Go ahead.
I really didn't pay much attention to Opie and Anthony.
Me neither.
Yeah, at one point, I don't know what I did or said, but they turned their followers, their minions on me, and they bugged my phone lines for 2 days, and then they disappeared, like the exterminator came. And, on this Vice special, which, you're featured on, I didn't realize some of the dopey things. I mean, really, even if you're doing uncensored radio, it just, smashing a cake that a homeless guy has, and it's his biggest prized possession, a dude that's outside the Sirius XM studios in New York, and you got a homeless guy that's there, and he's got a cake, and they show a clip of Opie or Anthony, one of these guys, literally jumping on the guy's cake, the biggest possession this homeless guy has in the world, and one of the guys literally jumps and stomps on the guy's cake and ruins this guy's cake. It's just, I didn't realize some of the mean content that they had. I don't know if it was prevalent every day, but they were trying to outdo Stern, I believe, because remember that Sirius and XM were originally two competing companies before they merged because they were both about to go bankrupt.
Well, what other names can I drop? Is Scott Shannon is still alive?
Yeah, Scott just retired a little while ago. He left. He was doing CBS FM in New York for a long time.
Weren't you friendly with Rush?
Yeah. Well, I was. I lost track of Rush in later years, but when I was working,
he stayed on the radio.
Yeah. What? Say it again.
He stayed on the radio. I don't know if you lost track of him.
Well, no.
Okay. I'm kidding. I know. I get it.
From a person. Listen, Rush was a really cool guy, and I knew him from working at WPLJ. So I worked with Scott Shannon twice. I worked with him at Pirate Radio in Los Angeles. He hired me in Norfolk. I was a 22-year-old kid, and I get hired from Norfolk, Virginia, to Los Angeles, California, to be the
MJ. MJ, you finally, there's finally something here we can talk about that someone else other than you and I would care about.
Right.
What I loved was Scott Shannon. It's a radio guy named Scott Shannon. He was a friend of mine, and he would call me up, and I'd hear him clicking his keys. Hey, man, Cal, what'd you do today in Chicago? And I'd tell him, that's crazy. And then he'd do it the next day, which I was fine with. He's a legend. I love the guy. But his picture in L.A., all the Mexicans thought he was the devil.
Yeah. So
his billboard comes up. He's the biggest thing in New York. He's going to conquer L.A., and all the Mexicans went, that's El Diablo. That's the devil. They had a cool picture of him, but they were convinced this guy was the devil, and it killed him. Surreal.
I still have a picture of that billboard in my nostalgia collection, and it was kind of an eerie photo of Scott Shannon, and they thought he was El Diablo because the way he was
the devil.
This shadowy picture, and El Diablo the devil, and the Mexican population in L.A. thought he was the devil. Anyway, so we were on in L.A. I was there for a couple of years. Then I followed Scott back to New York to put on Mojo Radio. Revamping the old WPLJ. And that's where I met Rush Limbaugh. Limbaugh was on Scott Shannon's first show ever back in New York after leaving Z100 New York and the Morning Zoo, going to LA for a couple of years, then coming back to PLJ. So Rush Limbaugh was on the first show. In fact, I've got the video from Art Volo, took video inside. He's for those that don't know, Art Volo.
I know who he is.
he's a
Yeah,
guy,
he says he's radio's best friend. MJ,
right.
let me tell you something. My best friend doesn't take videos of me and sell them at $25 a pop and make a ton of freaking money and not cut me in. Art Volo made a lot of money off me. He made a lot of money off you. And then he says he's our best friend. Hey, Art, you're not my best friend. Give me some money.
Give me a cut of the action.
Yeah, they were selling the Mancow videos and making a fortune. Come on.
Back to Rush Limbaugh. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a cool, down-to-earth guy. And this was really before his major success. He had already made a name for himself. So this is early '91 when we went back to New York. And the way that the radio station was set up, you had PLJ on one side of the 17th floor, and then WABC was on the other side. And Rush Limbaugh back then, before he moved to Palm Beach, he used to do his show out of WABC every day. And he until the day he died, he still was an FM radio DJ at heart. And that's what made him very entertaining, is because he was an FM radio DJ that knew how to entertain the crowd. He brought that top 40 timing and entertainment value. Yeah. He brought that to talk radio. That's why he was so appealing, is he knew how to take politics and the news, but wrap it into an entertaining picture.
And speed it up and do it for a new generation. Yeah. And people wondered why AM radio hosts, why the liberals didn't hit. And it's because they're humorless. Mark Maron was not funny. And I know the liberals just find him hysterical. He's not. And he got no ratings. Nobody cared. And, I think you walked me down the hall to meet Rush. I had met Rush in Kansas City as a kid.
Yep.
I'm from Kansas City as well, just outside there, Suicide Falls. And Rush and I stayed friends. And I had a Fox TV show. And I said, Rush, would you come on? He goes, why would I want to help you? Why would I want to promote you? I said, well, we're the same cause. He goes, yeah, I prefer not. He was nice, but kind of a dick. And then a couple of months later, he said, I felt bad about that. And he goes, hey, I'm on my jet. George Brett is here. And we want to tell you we love you. And George Brett is a Kansas City baseball player and a boyhood hero of mine. And they both were.
Yep.
And they said, hey, if you ever getting the Radio Hall of Fame, we want to induct you. And then I made fun of a pedophile that started the Radio Hall of Fame, and I'm banned because, I don't like pedophiles. But listen, I was just in Florida. You've been around. I saw a lot of Chicago people. I saw a lot of New Yorkers. I hope that maintains. Arizona is now going over to the side of commie. It looks like it's not commie, but it's commie now. Florida is, I guess I go to Florida for a while before I leave America. The numbers are against us. The trends are against us. I'm a freedom guy. And I know you don't want to be political. You told me you don't want to be political. But how long do you expect the Florida bubble to last? And are they kind to you being a New Yorker?
Well, listen, I'm kind of half New York, half Virginian. I knew where I was politically by the age of 11 or 12 years old. Florida for me at this point, I can own my guns. I can have, the stuff I want in my collection.
Yeah.
I couldn't have that stuff up in New York when I was living up there, because I was up in New York for 5 years, from 2015 to 2020, before I came back to do mornings again. Florida, I see myself staying in Florida for as long as my wife wants to stay here.
I am shocked when I go to New York and see it. I'm shocked when I drive into the city here and see it. And it's all these cities where Democrats are running things. And again, I don't want to be political, and I'm really a freedom guy. I don't like I don't like the Mitt Romneys of the world. I don't like the McCains. Maybe I am right wing, but I want freedom. Just leave me alone. I don't care if it's George Bush's big government or Obama or Biden's.
Well,
leave me alone.
You look at these big cities, Mancow, you look at these big cities and who's running them in these big blue states. And there's no mistaking the fact that San Francisco is a dumpster fire these days. Where was I?
Smell of urine and human shit in San Francisco.
And
I lived there. I lived there for years. Yeah.
You were in San Francisco as well. And you look what's going on. Look at the businesses. Look at the big stores that are pulling out of San Francisco. They're closing shop.
Do you know what they say?
Yeah.
MJ.
Yeah.
MJ. Do you know what they say?
What?
Do you know what they say? I mean, you've seen the videos of the drugstores and everything being emptied by the shitheads.
Yeah.
Do you know why businesses are leaving San Francisco? Because people are shopping at Amazon now. People are shopping online.
Well,
okay, nothing to see here. Oh, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Of course it's the crime. I don't go downtown Chicago because I don't want to get killed. I don't want my wife to get raped. Oh, well, the paradigm has changed. Oh, shut up.
Did you see the video of I think it was Nordstrom getting looted in Los Angeles. Did you see that? They're
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, they're grabbing the whole racks. They're even the steel cables around the Louis Vuitton purses. They're just taking the whole racks out of the store. It's unbelievable.
Well, our old mayor here, the original Mayor Daley, said shoot looters, and I don't know how we've gotten so weak on everything. MJ in Tampa, Bruce Maduri.
Yeah, I know Bruce very well. I can call him on his cell phone. You want me to call him?
No. You know who lives in Tampa though? The lead singer of AC/DC, I think, lives there. Brian Johnson, and I think the lead singer of Cheap Trick lives there.
Who?
Cheap Trick.
Yeah, Cheap Trick. Yeah. So AC/DC, I think he's down in Sarasota, so just an hour south of us. But my radio show gets down into Sarasota pretty well. And then you've got Robin Zander from Cheap Trick. He lives in Clearwater area, right across
He's a stud.
water. Yeah,
he's a stud. God, is that guy great? God, is Cheap Trick great? Great Chicago man.
I love Cheap Trick. I am.
What? They're great. They're great. They're still great. Rick Nielsen, come on, Incendiary, the great lyrics. Tell me this, and then I'll say goodbye to you. Tell me this. What's the housing market doing? Has it leveled off, or is it still crazy in Florida?
Florida's slowed down. No, we kind of bubbled out. Stuff that was selling before the freaking for sale sign was getting planted in the front yard. The houses were getting sold above asking price, and no, stuff is sitting now. It's a challenging market now. Some of the high end stuff is going for big money, but these are cash buyers. These are rich cash buyers that are buying. The interest rates are really damaging the market right now.
You're right.
Yep,
you're right. Well, I don't want to say I love you, but just shy of that. I'm very fond of you. And I was a young twink in New York City, scared to death. And now that sounds like we had something. I shouldn't say it like that. I was being funny, but you. And then if I say you took me under your wing, that sounds creepy. But you were very kind to me, and you didn't have to be. And the reason, if you want to know, and you probably don't give a shit, it's been 30 years. But the reason I didn't do the Shannon show was it was comedy by committee. And everybody sat around that big table, and I had an idea, and Scott goes, "Oh man, yeah." And then it went around the table, and then it got killed. And I just saw everybody voting on everything, and also the scripting on that show. And I love Scott, but the scripting, I mean, even like Scott, pause. I'm a free-form guy, and it didn't work for me. But I what an opportunity. He put his arm around me. We looked out on Madison Square Garden. He said, "You have made it. You've made it." And I thought, it doesn't feel like it.
When I would screw something up, and I was a character on the morning show in LA and in New York, so I did phone-in bits. I was the creative director of both Pirate Radio and PLJ, so I did all the production. I did all the morning show.
Oh, that production on Mojo was great.
I did all the top of the hour. I did all the promos. My hands were on the 16-track recorder, man.
What's the best one? Give me the best one.
What
was the funniest one?
Oh, at PLJ, probably when we attacked Z100. There were so many. Dude, I have reels and reels of my production from Los Angeles.
Michael Jackson ever come in?
Michael Jackson never came in.
You guys were brutal.
Yeah.
God, and it sounded like you had him.
Yeah. No, we never had Michael. We did all kinds of bits. We had impersonators, but he never was actually. Yeah.
Oh. My God. Okay. All right. Let's start the show. MJ, Tampa, love you.
Wait a minute. Start the show. The show's been on for 24 minutes.
This is just the appetizer. I'm going on for another 14 hours. Ralph, start the show. What the timing on this guy? Didn't you say start the show? Mojo Radio. I'm the Mancow. This is the Lion's Den. I hope you knew that before you tuned in. This is where the angels and the devils fight, and they're choosing up sides tonight. Me, I'm part man, part monkey, part mystery, and the angels and the devils are playing tug of war with my personality. Welcome to the program. I'm just back from Florida, where I was on tour again as the mascot of the Smashing Pumpkins. Jimmy Chamberlain, the greatest drummer on earth. Billy Corrigan doing his best music ever, and he's done a lot of great stuff. A new multi-pack, ATUM, it's spelled. I say autumn, and he corrects me, so I don't know how I'm supposed to say it. Met up with Roger Stone, talked with Tucker, and then those two other guys you heard me mention earlier. Should we show up? Let's show a pumpkin something. We got a pumpkin video. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's there's a young, beautiful girl, and she was in her 20s. Don't worry, but I think she was Xing out. And she was very, I had to. Thank you. I had to keep that away from me. I love my wife. I love my wife. Oh, by the way, the demon that's coming after me, he's about to be single. His wife's leaving him. But that's another story I can't talk about. Okay. So, and little Dirk at the United Center. Joe, can you believe that? Karen, can you believe that? Ghost of Rocky Wirtz. Can you believe that? At a little Dirk concert, they acted like a group of assholes at a little Dirk concert. What are you saying? A little Dirk concert? No way. You can't believe it either, can you, huh? At a at a little Dirk concert. And then the same kind of act. There seems to be a connection. There seems to be, I don't know. Is it a big gulf between A and B? But little Dirk and then another kind of rap concert at City Winery, they were throwing chairs. They were, and oh man, the language. And I love to listen. Because you hear, man, my dog Peanut is a Manchester Terrier, and he's smarter. He can say, he doesn't speak, and he's smarter. Did you listen to the commentary from the dipshits filming? Did you listen to it? God's clowns. They're here for us to laugh at. Throwing chairs, breaking shit, stealing. God's clowns. Oh, man. When you get violent, when you get loud, and I've gotten violent, I've gotten loud, you lose. You're stupid. It's stupid. When you allow emotion to take control. I get emotional, and I lose. Emotions destroy us. Anyway, they were throwing chairs. I think this chair, I'm going to, Brandon Johnson, you clown-ass mayor of Chicago, make chairs illegal. They're throwing chairs, make them illegal. Yeah, and programs. If only you had more of my money. If only they had more of our money, folks, they wouldn't kill and stop us. If we had more programs. There seems to be a connection with all this shit that I can't put my finger on it. The AP, the Associated Press, I think we have a video on this. I don't want to ruin it. But the Associated Press, I'm reading it. Reading it. And it says that officials blocked the road, the main road out of Maui. Officials blocked the road. And they turned people back into the flames.
Up out of bed to give you this message.
Oh, here we go.
It's rocking me. I haven't seen it anywhere else. Access to the main highway out of Lahaina during the fire was cut off by barricades set up by authorities. That's the AP. You don't get more liberal than that. Why were the roads blocked off? The only road out of hell in Hawaii blocked off. Why are kids told to sit against cinder block walls in windowless rooms when a shooting starts? Why were people ordered back into the buildings on 9/11? It goes on and on and on. Why did they put people with the plague in old folks' homes? It's the questions. And then it kind of hits you. They want us dead.
Yeah, no, I'm here. Yeah, it's everything, guys. It's everything. It's the sexuality that doesn't give more life. The types of sexuality that lead to less people. Feminism that encourages women that they don't need kids. The new Snow White that tells us you don't need a man. You don't need a prince. It's the poison in our food that you can't find anywhere else on earth. It's the fake stuff they're making us do. It's the wars. We didn't have war under Trump. It's the endless wars. Bilderberg, Council on Foreign Relations, Bohemian Grove, Rothschilds, Fauci, Gates, Bill and Melinda. Everything you want to talk about. Met a woman named Nancy, and I think that she went down the rabbit hole. I've known people that have gone down the rabbit hole. I've known lots of people that have gone down the rabbit hole. In other words, you chase after this, and then you learn this. The cops are here. Would you go see what that's all about? Cops are here. Wonder what I did. Anyway, the fix said it. One thing leads to another. And, you can go crazy following this, chasing this. And I'm going to give you the secret if I haven't done it before. And if you listen to me for 30 years, you heard this. Jesse the Brain, Alex Jones. It's all connected. And the message is simple. Everything I've just said. It's all about one thing. Do you know what it is? I bet you do. Because you wouldn't be watching me if you're a dipshit. It's about less life. That's what it's about. And that's what others have been trying to tell you, and I've been trying to tell you for 30 years. They talk about in another 10 years, there are going to be billions less people. How? How are they going to do it? So when you know this, you don't have to go down the rabbit holes. Do you think they killed those people? Yes. Do you think they meant for the shooting for all those innocent? Yes. Wait, do you think they're disarming the good people because they want? Yes. It's all by design. The elites, and I know this because I've seen them say it in videos, and so have you. The climate hoax, all of this stuff. It's all about less humanity, late-term abortion, less people. They want less people. They want more death. The kids were sent home in Hawaii. The sheriff, somebody said he's a crisis actor. I don't know. But the sheriff was the same actor, the same sheriff who was in Vegas during the biggest mass shooting. Now he's at the biggest fire. I mean, a connection, you think? You think? And these, I don't know who they are, liberals, I guess, that they feel so deeply and they tolerate intolerance as our cities get destroyed. Oh, I just feel for them. As your stores are looted and burned, you're not supposed to say anything other than they're righteous. My hairy white pimply ass. Give me a break. Nothing righteous about stealing from somebody. There's nothing righteous about destroying property that you don't own. But they care. Oh, they feel. Yeah, they have a mind like a sewer, no conscience, and a heart like a refrigerator. So, and what rights don't people have? I want my rights. What rights don't people have? Nobody's been able to tell me. I got my rights, all rights. What can't you do? Everyone's welcome here. I've never seen anybody in my life kept out of a business because of who they had sex with. Ever. Everyone's welcome. Virtue signaling. So, yeah. I have a new TV show I'm working on. I'm going to tell you about it. It's called Cooking with Lasers. Cooking with Lasers. The first one's going to be a Hawaiian luau. Cooking with Chinese-made lasers. Cooking with Lasers, the luau show. What do you think? You think it'll be a hit? Huh? Listen, I want to thank you for this show. Our ratings go up and then they beat us down if we say something they don't like and they'll block us and all that happy horse shit, isn't it? But I want to thank you, and I mean that 100% and not a cent less. Thank you for being part of this. And I may be a nut job. I may be a conservative nut job. I don't know. But I'd rather be that than a commie lib with no nuts and no job. And I care about two gardens. I want to tell you about two gardens. The Garden of Eden where man fell, but don't forget the Garden of Gethsemane where Christ took a stand for us. I've already been forgiven. Anything I'm going to do in the future, it's already been forgiven. Senators are shorting the market. In other words, senators are, if you look at their stocks, and it's smart to do because they get very rich while they're in office, senators are betting on the economy failing. Wasn't it interesting that there were no natural disasters that I remember during COVID? but it's time to get us in line. Ladies, if your boyfriend is into ass bleaching, is that something to be wary of? Hey, is everything okay? Come back in if it's okay with the cops. Send him home or tell him to wait. I'll be off in a second. The cops were just outside the window here. I believe in the right to arm bears, and I'm talking about grizzly bears. They should have guns. They should be able to fight back against creeps like Timothy Treadwell. If you haven't seen the Werner Herzog movie called Grizzly Man, where the movie begins with them picking pieces of Timothy and his girlfriend out of the bear's waist, do it. The bears are he loved bears. He loved bears. He just wanted to be with bears. He was an animal rights guy, and they ate him and his girlfriend. They had 3 big Glad trash bags of his waste that was including Timothy and his girl. Pelosi is now being controlled by Sid and Marty Krofft, puppeteers, as are, what's her name? Dianne Feinstein. She is now just being completely controlled by Frank Oz, the great Muppeteer. So they're just complete puppets. And do you like that? Feinstein's too old and senile, so my daughter will take over. How is that legal? I've never understood that. It didn't work out, so my daughter will take over. I got the Hunter. I went through all the contents, and you can find them of the Hunter Biden laptop. Manny likes to take pictures of his junk, and I wonder about the women on there. A lot of the same women on there. Is it? Can't he get in trouble for that? I don't know. Can we get in trouble for showing some of it? I mean, these women didn't ask to be part of Hunter Biden's laptop. I don't know. Is sex important to marriage? I mean, without that, isn't it just a friendship? And is a sexless marriage grounds for divorce? Is a sexless marriage grounds for you to cheat? Mancow, where are the missing kids of Miami or Maui? Do I believe they were trafficked? God, I hope not. The sirens didn't go off. There was no warning. The parents weren't home, and they sent the kids home. And I'm hearing that thousands are missing, and I don't understand why this isn't a bigger story. But it's a great question and made me think. Do I think Maui was Chinese lasers? I don't know. It sure seems like they let it happen. And the guy comes out and says, well, no, we're not supposed to sound the klaxons, the alarms. We're not supposed to do that, during a fire. And then you look at it, it says, the alarm will sound during a hurricane, or a tornado, or a fire. So the guy's either incompetent, which is a lot of our government, or lying. And when these people, because they're so stupid, that's the pass you hear from your friends. It's the pass that you give yourself in your head as well. Well, they wouldn't have killed all those people in Maui. They wouldn't have killed all those people. They're probably just stupid, like so many people in the government. They're just stupid. Yeah, okay. But shouldn't they be in jail for being murderers? If you don't do your job and thousands die, we block the road because we didn't want them going to the hills. That's protected. And thousands die. You send people back into the fire and they die. Shouldn't you be in trouble for that? Love thy neighbor, huh? Should Trump debate? Someone wanted to know. No. Chris Christie, that slob. Trump's up like 67%. You're going to sit there and let that loser, Chris Christie, what about January 6th? Oh, Jabawanga. Why let him have that? Integrity. You have to wonder, do you think anyone at MSNBC or CNN or ABC, CBS, do you think they know the meaning of the word integrity? Do you think they ever get a gust of conscience and think, wow, this is really bad that I'm aiding the communist Chinese masters? I don't think so either. By the way, Einstein said it would be horrible if the Chinese took over the planet, and I talked about this last week. I love the Chinese, okay? I like the Chinese. I've been to China. They're great. I hate the Chinese communist government. Mancow, do you think TikTok is to make our kids stupid? Yeah, yes, and to spread the agenda, of course. MJ talked about this show on Vice. I'm on the first hour. I haven't seen it. I won't see it. But evidently, Stearns people come out and they say that they really feel bad about what they did, and I can appreciate that. I'm a Christian guy, and I can appreciate their humanity. Are we about to run out of time? No, I'm good. Okay. I just want to make sure. Isn't it odd that tobacco companies kill their customers and birth control companies they prevent any future customers? Isn't that odd? Have you ever gotten so drunk you pulled your pants off over your head? Roger Stone. Do we want to show Maui? Do we want to show Bud Hash? Do we want to show Roger Stone? What do we want to do? Show something, Ralph. Do something, Ralph, for God's sakes, please.
We are at Abit's, which could be the greatest pizza place, maybe on the face
Put him
of the
on.
planet.
Take me off.
This is New Haven, Connecticut style pizza in the grand tradition of Frank Pepe's and Sally's. The white clam pizza.
White clam pizza
is a Connecticut phenomenon you can find only in New Haven, Connecticut, and a few enclaves here in South Florida. Look at this. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
looks very odd. A little clam pizza. All right, here we go.
And a little bit of lemon.
So it went on from there.
With Roger Stone, my buddy.
Here's the bad news for the leftists. Roger Stone still did nothing wrong. God bless you and have a great Sunday.
He still did nothing wrong. Boy, I put that up on Instagram and some people got pissed. Whoa. This artwork is by a guy named Frank Adorno. Frank is my travel agent. I have given out his name and number numerous times. And guess how much business he's gotten? I've given it to all my friends. Guess how much business he's gotten because of me? 0. Which I can't believe, but like radio, it's something that nobody thinks they need anymore. For me, $25, $50. The guy books everything. Hey, my flight got bumped. Hang on, I got you on another one. He has a layout of the airport. Where are you? I'm by the Annie Annie's pretzel. Okay, you need to run. Take a left. You're gonna go get the tram. I travel all the time. The guy's great. Anyway, Frank Adorno, ADORNO.com, frankadorno.com. And this is a 3D thing, which you can't see here on this, but it's a 3-dimensional thing. And it's a new backdrop, at least for tonight. It's going to be hanging proudly in Muller Manor. My wife looked at it, and she looked at me, and I'm going to have oxygen for her. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to have oxygen for her here at Muller Manor. My wife's going to have to go on oxygen because I take her breath away. Hey, let's hit another video, Ralph. What do you say? Huh? What do you think?
For your kids to get high. And as Fox 30's Jack Miller reports, they're using raw sewage.
Kids are calling it by the more popular slang term, butt hash. Jack Miller.
Okay, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Do you remember how much fun we had with that? Kids getting high on stinky. I'm smoking it now. Do you know I saw a guy on TV, a murder investigator. Maybe you saw this clip that's floating around. Do you know when you die, 30 seconds, a minute, there are maggots that start appearing. Even if you have no flies in your house. There used to be a thought that somehow they were innocent, it's spontaneous, and for thousands of years they couldn't figure it out. That's what the body farm studies, right? How you can tell how long they've been dead based on the maggots and stuff. But here's the real thing I want to talk about. 30 seconds, a minute after you die, cats start eating you immediately. They don't even think about it. They start eating your nose, then they eat your eyelids, then they eat your lips, then they eat your fingertips or your toesies if you're in bed. A dog will starve to death first. I'm a cat person, but kind of a good sales point for dogs, I think. We have another video. I'm gonna wrap it up here soon. Another video.
I wish politicians look out for minors and not
come back to me.
minors on an island somewhere. Lord,
hey, stop it. So, is this guy for real? Now, here's the thing. I was up to 2 million people, and then they cut my nuts off. And then I got up to 177,000, and they cut my nuts off. They don't allow it. Silicon Valley, the Chinese masters. Pick who you think the master is. It all goes back to China. By the way, what's his name? Rashami or whatever, that Republican guy. And I like the fact that a guy, whose bloodline traces back to India is Ramaswamy is running for president. But, Taiwan, it's not a civil war, man. Taiwan they're good friends of ours, and they're a different culture, just like Tibet. And he says he wants to get, we need Taiwan now, but it's a civil war. Yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if he isn't a plant. If he isn't I can't say the S word because I'll get in trouble. But you know the guy, the Hungarian guy with the S? I can't say it. They'll take me off. You know the name. They're saying he's back. I don't know. You know, I've told you I've never trusted Ben Shapiro. I don't believe he's legit. My opinion. Tate was very good on Tucker. I'm not a fan. There's people I like. There's people I don't like. I can't help it. Charlie Kirk, I said to him, I don't like you. He said, I don't like you. I said, we're on the same side. He goes, yeah, we can be on the same side. We don't have to like each other. I didn't like him. Something about him that, I don't know. Yeah. So, the small town video took all. The fact that this video that I'm about to show hasn't taken heat and they've put it out there makes me wonder if it's legit. That's all I'm saying. I think it is, but let's play the video. It's great.
I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. Well, God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds. Young men are putting themselves 6 feet in the ground, cause all this damn country does is keep on kicking them down. Lord, it's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Living in the new world with an whole soul. These rich men know the Richmond, Lord knows they all just wanna have total control. Wanna know what you think, wanna know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, cause your dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end.
Wow.
Those are rich men, north of rich men.
All right. I met a cyborg, somebody augmented with appliances, Neuralink kind of stuff. Yes, I believed her. You can see some of the video on Instagram. We're gonna have it next week on this program or soon. I think we've done everything. I would like to. Westworld. Hold on. Yeah, come closer. That's my robot from Westworld. Do you ever see the movie Westworld? Okay, thank you. Well, he doesn't have his face mask on right now, but man, is it these? Is it the what is going on with people not having personalities? Have you noticed when you show warmth and humor or whatever to people, they're just, like a Mitch McConnell, just something's going on, man, with people. Things are different, aren't they? You felt it, haven't you? Hope you'll write him on Instagram. Hope we'll see each other again. My arch enemy got sick. We became good friends before that. It was a God thing. And there's a movie that's coming out. Let's roll a little bit of the trailer. Let's roll all of it. This is your first peek at Kevin Matthews and Broken Mary. Is it going to play?
Will there be another Kevin Matthews? No.
Everybody knows who Kevin is.
But Kevin is a genius.
There's just no one like him.
It was amazing. It was like a religion. Turn on the radio in the morning. Listen to Kevin Matthews.
Hi, this is Mike Ditkin.
Hey, this is Brian May.
Hi, I'm Chris Farley. You're listening to the Kevin Matthews Show.
I thought he was insane. A lot of people thought he was insane.
I am Kevin Matthews, and I'm from Jupiter.
99% of people tune into radio at some point during the week.
There were no cell phones. People were listening to the radio. Chicago at that time was the perfect storm. Michael Jordan is a Chicago Bull. The 85 Bears just won the Super Bowl. You have this new lady, Oprah, she's in town. And so the country was watching what was going on in Chicago. Nobody could touch us. We had 10 million people listening to us a week. 10 million people listening to us a week. But that was my past. If you would have told me I'd be carrying around a broken statue of the Virgin Mary, talking about God, I'd say, are you high? I was doing my morning show, I was on the air, and I couldn't move. I thought I was having a stroke, and they said it's MS. It's a rare form of MS. Eventually, it cost me my job because I wasn't the old funny Kev. I'm driving, thinking, what am I gonna do? I hear a voice, get your wife some flowers. And I look up flower shop, and there's a dumpster. I see this statue lying on the ground, and I know it's a statue of the Virgin Mary. She has no hands. She's broken in half. She's covered in dirt and garbage and weeds. I'm not a religious man at this point, but I'm like, that's wrong. I said, listen, I found this statue. Where can I get her fixed? He looks at her, oh yeah, we can put her together and I can put new hands on her and I can paint her. She won't even look broken. And that's when I start crying. I said, no, I don't want her fixed. I said, she reminds me of me. She's broken like me. I kept her broken because I said, we're all broken and we're loved by God.
There are very few people in life that I think are saints on earth, but Kevin is one of the few that I actually think might be a saint on earth.
He sees the Virgin Mary broken, cast aside. He's been cast aside.
Here's a man who's had a true conversion. Here's a man who loves God so much.
He doesn't hang out with strippers anymore. He hangs out with nuns and priests.
He said, keep the statue broken. It touches people, it reaches people.
You drop a pebble into the water and watch the rings expand. That's what we are experiencing with Broken Mary. Losing someone who has died by suicide, it completely shatters a person. But through my faith, beauty can come from the brokenness.
I think we're all broken. It's okay to be broken. You're not alone.
He is touching so many lives of people who have been hurting or broken. I think those people are going to affect people as well.
I tell people, this is not about me. This story is about us.
Wow. That's the first time I've seen that. Yeah. October, we're doing a show. He's doing a show. I'm going to be making an appearance. My ego would tell you, he says, we couldn't be beat. I beat him. But that would just be so tasteless for me to say right now. Fact is, I'm wiping away tears. He's a God guy. I'm a God guy. And we're brothers. And it is bigger than all of this. Ego, edge God out. Death kills the id. But we should try to work on it while we're here. And you're hearing that from the Mancow. As my mom used to say, shut up.